It never ceases to amaze me how some of the dumbest people on the planet are the most influential people on the planet. I mean, we see that in pop culture, we see that in politics, and unfortunately, we're starting to see that in the church. People that have no business discerning anything for God's people and telling anybody what's right and wrong because they themselves have absolutely no clue. They're the ones with the big prominent positions. And one of those guys today is Russell Moore of Christianity Today. Hey guys, your friend Spencer here. The Enneagram, we've been talking about that for the past little while, and it is everybody's darling little 9-point personality test that all these Christians are just raving about, and it helps you understand your interpersonal relationships so that you can more healthily navigate the complexities of life and relationships and things like that. It'll make you a better Christian, a better wife, a better husband, a better father, a better mother, a better employee, and just a better church member, if you will. But the truth is that this symbol is nothing more than a tool of the occult. You see, a man named Gurdjieff found this when he was traveling the world, and the Sufi mystics taught him sacred geometry and taught him how to align certain lines and all that. So he developed something along the lines of the Enneagram. Then a man named Oscar Ichazo got a hold of it and developed it further. Then Claudio Naranjo was a disciple of Mr. Ichazo. And he went and developed this whole 9-point personality test and developed it even further. And then Bob Oakes got a hold of it, who was a Catholic, and he taught it to a young Catholic monk named Richard Rohr. Richard Rohr is a universalist. He wrote a book called The Universal Christ, and he basically is a New Age using the lingo and teachings of Christianity to teach New Age religion. Well, Susan Stabile and Ian Cron were two little disciples of Richard Rohr, and they are now teaching this to evangelical Christians. And now today you have people like Jen Hatmaker and all these kind of people out there, especially Rachel Cruz of the Ramsey Show, talking about the Enneagram and how wonderful this thing is. Well, just a couple weeks ago on the Russell Moore Show, we find that Russell Moore brings in Ian Cron right here. Ian Cron is an unsaved apostate. This guy is a theological liberal. He's an Anglican preacher, pastor, and he is one of the biggest proponents of the Enneagram. He's actually not an Anglican. He's Episcopal, and he's actually won a Dove Award. If that tells you anything about the Christian music industry, he wrote a song, got a Dove Award for it. This guy is bad news. But I want to show you this.
Just talking about the Enneagram, because I know that there are some people in sort of my tribe of evangelical Christianity who are really nervous about the Enneagram.
Yeah, and you should be.
And some of them will say, well, I've heard that it started in something occultic.
Yes, it did. It started with Sufi mysticism. That's exactly where it started.
Or they'll say, I heard that it started in a really mystical form of Catholicism, and is that really compatible with what I believe?
It did start. I mean, Catholicism is mystical religion. There's not much difference between New Age mysticism and Roman Catholicism. You have to understand that, and our Third Adam documentaries will make that very clear to you.
And so just explain to us, for people who are kind of curious, what is the Enneagram?
Sure. The Enneagram is an ancient personality typing system.
And notice when they say ancient, that's a buzzword for occultic, okay? Just remember that. Anytime you hear the word ancient or forgotten or hidden, that's occultic terminology.
That teaches there are 9 basic personality styles in the world, one of which we gravitate toward and adopt in childhood, just as a way to cope, to feel safe, to protect ourselves, and to navigate the new world of relationships, right, that we're now encountering. And each of those types really has an unconscious underlying belief.
Yeah, and so see, that right there is, that's Gnostic talk, unconscious stuff that you need to be awakened to.
Habitually acts, thinks, and feels.
Where
Enneagram's roots, so we believe, right, that the Enneagram's roots can be traced back to the desert mothers and fathers in the Christian tradition. There was a well-known monk named Evagrius Ponticus, who actually was in some ways responsible for the 7 deadly sins as we know them now.
Okay, so let me just stop right there. Okay, now Russell Moore is talking about where's the source of this Enneagram. And Ian Cron makes the case, well, the Christian desert mothers and what does that even mean? The Christian desert mothers and fathers. That's weird talk, okay? What he goes on to say here is that there's a guy named Evagrius who was a 4th century monk. Okay, now here's a picture of Evagrius Ponticus. And people don't understand, but this guy was a mystic. This guy was a Gnostic. And matter of fact, I'm just going to pull up an article here. This is from the Britannica, Encyclopedia Britannica on Evagrius Ponticus. Okay, Christian mystic, right there. It says it right there. Anytime it says mystic, that is Gnosticism. Now, here's what this article says. It says that historical research since 1920 has suggested that Evagrius produced the first major philosophical theological exposition of monastic mysticism by developing the Neoplatonic biblical theology of 3rd century Christian teacher Origen. Basically what that means, let me just make that normal people talk instead of theology talk. Basically what that means is he was a disciple of Origen, and he worked with Origen or whatever, and he developed a mystical interpretation of the Bible. Now, this is Gnosticism. That's what that is. This is the divine feminine. This is modernism before modernism was even a thing. This is mystery religion, and this man is a teacher of all that. It says, Evagrius' Gnostic centuries emphasize the essential function of spiritual beings to experience union with God. That is the merger of dualities. That is occultic talk, the transcendent one. And if you notice, Lauren Daigle made that post the other day where I said she came out of the occult closet, and everybody's mad at me about that video. The transcendent one, God is transcending. That's New Age mystical talk. That is the language of the occult, okay? Expressed as pure light. If you go to 2 Corinthians chapter 11, Satan manifests himself as an angel of light. This is the language of the occult. This is New Age mysticism. And so, I mean, it goes on here, man can find reconciliation only by an ascetical, self-mortifying process where the spirit regains its rule over matter and realizes its capacity to experience the divine simplicity. That's Gnosticism. All physical is bad. That is one of their tenets of their religion. So this man, Ian Cron, says that Evagrius was one of the sources of the Enneagram, and therefore it's Christian. And all he did was prove once and again, and just another point, that it's not Christian. God's people need to wake up and listen. God's people need to start developing some learning and some understanding. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. If you think education is expensive, you should try ignorance for once. This Enneagram is going to destroy people. This Enneagram is opening the door for Satanism to come into the church. This is pagan, this is mystical, this is Gnostic, this is the occult. And we have Christian rock, we have Christian rap, we got Christian beer, may as well have Christian Satan worship too, because that's basically what we're doing with the Enneagram. Absolutely. Guys, I'm going to put a link in the description of this video. I preached a whole sermon at our church about the Enneagram and why it's wrong. And I want you to go watch that. Please take the time to watch that. And also, if you see, look below and you see a red button that says subscribe, that means you're not subscribed to this channel. So please hit that button and subscribe to us. And listen, all of our works together, these videos that I do during the day are kind of to highlight a lot of the major documentaries that we've done. All the Third Adam series and this Third Adam 3X, all that. Mystery religion is creeping into the church and is subverting God's people away from the truth. That's exactly what's happened. And guys like Russell Moore are too dumb to even know what he's talking about. And by the way, you evangelicals in Christianity Today and all you people, you guys are crazy. You don't know truth. You don't know what the Word of God says. Guys, subscribe to this channel. Go watch that video on the Enneagram. We're going to put in the link in the description here, and we will see you guys very soon. Have a good day.